what I want to do today is I want to share with you guys what I'm editing, what I'm working on, and how I'm approaching that. If you guys recall, or if you guys follow me on Instagram, you know that I was doing a 30 tips in 30 days series. So I have 10 tips remaining, and I actually have them all written out here. That's blown out, but yeah, I have 10 tips, and I'm going to edit those 10 tips tonight. They're all 2 minutes each, and I'm going to knock that out ideally in about 2 hours and call it a night, and then attack tomorrow. I already have my game plan written out for tomorrow, so that if I do pull a pretty late night, I'll at least be able to wake up and know exactly what I need to get started on. And of course, you guys will be able to see what happens tomorrow, the next day, being that this is a daily vlog. So with no further ado, I'm just going to walk you guys through how I'm tackling these 10 edits that I'm going to make for Instagram. Just a couple things when it comes to editing. I like to just lock in. I turn everything off. I go into airplane mode. I do not need distractions. That's not going to help me at all. A recent tool that I picked up was from a friend of mine named Scott McKenna. It's this mouse that's made by Logitech, and it allows you to actually program a lot of your keyboard shortcuts into the mouse. I mean, this mouse has so there's your left and right clickers, scroll wheel also clicks. There's a button here, which I use as the blade tool, and I pretty much just copied all the Scott settings, to be quite honest. It's another scroll wheel for lateral scrolling along the side of the thumb here. There's a front and back clicker right behind that scroll wheel, and then you can push in on this section of the mouse, and if you use a Mac like I do, that's what opens up all of your windows that are available. But you can program it however you desire through the Logitech app, and I've been utilizing that in addition to just making sure I'm using my shuttle keys and things of that nature. But I don't want to get too deep into that. I actually had a coaching call with Scott, which was just life-changing. Scott was able to walk me through workflows and best practices when it comes to editing in Final Cut Pro 10 that have allowed me to just catalyze and expedite everything, and I'm extremely grateful for it. I'm not gonna, give you guys all the stuff that Scott gave me, because I feel like you should hire Scott for that as well. But I'll give you guys the macro, the big picture, and then you guys can glue together the pieces as you see fit. Also, I try to keep these videos probably between like 5 and 7 minutes, and for me to unpack all the information in this one video alone would make this a short masterclass, and I don't think that's where the attention span of my target audience is. If it is, let me know. But I'm gonna hop in. So first things first, let's dive into the computer here, and let's begin the edit. Man, the world is crazy. I took a little bit of a break just to process everything that was going on, and I am back, and I am black. Woohoo! See what I did there? Okay. Oh, you know what? After that last update, oh, come on. My Red Giant application manager has not been working. What do you mean Grinder 64 is not responsive? All right, so I'm more than likely going to have to reinstall Pluralize. This is a part of the grind, guys. This is a part of the grind. Sometimes stuff breaks. So I'm just going to close this out. Of course, there's a background task, so we'll let that run. What?
One hour later.
So now that they're all into this project here, I called it a timeline. Guys, it's late, so I might make some typos or some faux pas, if you will. So please forgive me for that. And all I'm doing right now, guys, is I'm scrubbing through, and I'm making my selects on the clips that I know that I'm definitely going to use. And then I'm going to go through and edit them. But I get the bulk of the bad cuts, or just the garbage that I'm not going to keep. I get that out of the way first, just so I can have a nice clean timeline to edit from. And I use these markers to indicate the names of each tip. You hit Command-Shift-2 in Final Cut at least. Did I lie to y'all? What is it called? It's the index, right? Yeah, and select clips. you can actually see each marker that you have selected or that you created. All right, so now if you look at your index, again, that's Command-Shift-2, you'll see that we have all the tips organized by their markers in order. So tips 21 to 29. Tip 30, I'm going to do something a little special with. It's going to be a little different. I haven't filmed that one yet because I'm going to put a little bit more time, a little bit more intention into it. But we're now at a point where we can begin kind of just knocking out the edits. So what I'm going to do, Command-Control-1 gets rid of, I think it's called your browser, I think. Command-Shift-7 is what I need because I need to see the scopes. I was going to go ahead and go through all of these and cut them up as I look at each camera because I like to kind of specify which camera I'm looking at, depending on what I'm talking about. So something I want you to pay attention to, like right now, I'm going to look directly at the camera that's a little bit off axis. If I wanted to just kind of give general information or a welcome, I'm going to look straight ahead. So let's hop into that. And during this moment, sometimes I might listen to some music, but not really. And also decided to go with oranges tonight instead of ice cream because I'm starting to get a little soft and I need to do better. So here we go. Another good tip is that I'm listening to all this stuff at like double or triple speed. All I'm looking for is the shift in my head. I could scrub this with the playhead as another option, but I feel like I feel like I make my cuts more efficiently when I'm listening at double or triple speed instead of moving the playhead and trying to move the playhead back to the exact spot. It just tends to be a lot that way. So that's what I'm currently doing right now. Okay, so from the moment that we started this clip until now, it has been 12 minutes and I've cut all 9 interviews or tip segments. And now we're going to transition to adding our color, which is like one of my favorite parts. Really like coloring. And that's what we're gonna do. Actually, before we do that though, I think I'm gonna eat an orange. But I'm not gonna eat an orange and watch a YouTube video because I know that if I do that, that's a slippery slope of distraction, and I very well may not ever get back on track. So we're just gonna eat the orange and think about our day tomorrow. I'm also very particular about my orange peeling. I do not like a ton of like that extra pulp-like stuff on the outside. It's got to be pretty much bare skin. Tastes better that way. Beauty in the details. I am destroying this orange, guys. I'm talking about this section, by the way. Like, nobody wants to eat this. There's no flavor in here. There's probably some vitamins though. Spare you guys the sound effects of me eating this. I've completely mangled this orange, guys. Okay, so now that all of my angles have been selected, I'm going to go ahead and color grade. And fortunately, because I'm filming in a controlled environment, it's just a key light, that backlight, all the house lights are off, right? I just have to grade one clip, and then I can apply that grade to everything, and we're good to go. So I'm actually going to make it a LUT. I'm going to call it the studio LUT since my settings don't really change in here. Just kind of remodeled the studio. So yeah, I'll create that as a LUT, and as long as I stay consistent with my exposure, white balance, and things like that, I should be able to create the same look every time that I want to come back into Final Cut when it comes to editing studio content. So let's do that. And now this is when I will typically start playing some tunes that I enjoy. So let's see, what am I going to listen to for this color grade? And really it's only probably going to take me like one song to get through. I think I'm going to listen to Evidence by Elevation Worship Collective. So when you're color grading, Command 7 is going to bring up your scopes. Command 4 is going to bring up your inspector window. Command 5 is going to bring up your effects. I start off by looking at my Luma scale, my Luma scope, and I use a mix of Color Finale and the built-in Final Cut option. So I'm going to start off with Final Cut's wheels. You can see how adjusting the highlights is, of course, adjusting the brightest parts of the image, but I'm a purist, so those lights in the background are what I'm going to base my brightest part of the exposure off of. I don't mind a moodier look on my personal work. Also time check, it is 12:54, so you might be able to do it in 2 hours. Who knows? Shout out to Scott. Alright, so when you're shooting in S-Log, of course, you know you have to bring back some saturation because it's so flat. Hopping down to my effects, grabbing Color Finale. I'm going to specifically use Color Finale really just for the curve. I prefer this curve over Final Cut's curve. It's just a personal thing. I'm a little bit too moody there. I try to be really particular about this because this is what I'm basing all the other clips off of. So I will fine tune this until I'm really, really happy with it. I'm just going up and down here to see what that's actually adjusting. If you look at my face, it's blowing up my forehead, right? So don't want to do that. But I will push it right to the brink. Best tips for the tone curve, guys. Add as many points as you want as long as you know what you're adjusting. See what it impacts. That's the best way that you can really learn it. And I'm still learning it myself. I think I'm content with that though. Next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to just isolate my skin tone. Push in the color I want in the shadows. Because I'm wearing this orange shirt, I think it makes sense to just go with one of the teal, but not too dramatic. So oftentimes what I'll do is I'll go super extreme just to see what it looks like. And I'll pull out until I don't see it, and I'll try to find that happy medium. Alright, last thing, control shadow fall off. Alright, this will give me some contrast and saturation back in the skin tone. Tough, yeah, but overall I feel like my saturation is still just a little lax, so I'll try to push a little bit more in. Alright, and I'm gonna give it just a LUT. It's kind of dirty, sorry guys. I'm not really crazy about this. Because I like my 85 and the color of the 85, I'm actually going to try to copy the attributes of that to the 24. Let's see if I just make some exposure adjustments. Ooh. Nothing needs to change. Yo. That's the beauty of using the same camera, make and model, exposure settings matching, getting it right in camera. Oh my goodness. These are the moments as a creative that you really appreciate. It is 1:04 in the morning and my color grading experience has me feeling like it's Christmas right now. I'm so happy. Golly. We're gonna have a good therapy session tomorrow. I know what I'm grateful for. Like camera models. Be like that, right? So, okay, solid. So, color is done. Knock that out. It is officially 1:11. Make a wish, right? So, now that color is done, it's just text titles and music. So, can I finish that in less than 50 minutes? And do audio correction? We will see. And also, this is a really, really simple edit. So I'm not trying to make it seem as though like I'm some phenomenal editor by doing these 9 tips in 20 minutes. I just know for vulnerability's sake, this normally would have taken me like 4 hours of video, like for filming and editing. And I've gone from I filmed 9 of these in like 3 hours. And I'm on pace to potentially edit them in 2 hours, which means that I would have then filmed and edited 9 videos in 5 hours. I'm okay with that growth pattern. That's a good progression, in my opinion. I mean, based on where I used to be. So I'm grateful for that. We can always get faster, but I'm happy for where I am. Try not to be too hard on myself. See. Okay, so basically what I'm doing is right now I'm adding lower thirds. And because I know I want the lower third to be at the intro and the outro of every clip, I'm just going to add that to each one now. That way it's just a copy paste thing or an option drag, depending on what you want to use in Final Cut. And I'm going to use my index because I've now cut this up into multiple sections. I can either make them into compound clips, which is an option. That way I can see each clip easier. I think I might go ahead and do that. So now that the compound clips are made, I can just snap my lower third into the beginning and end of each clip. And then I can add my little swinging door pixel films effect graphic for the information that I want to make sure people focus on. Add a little bit of music, fix up this audio, and then I'll be done. So let's do that. It is 3:46. And I'm currently running the audio through RX, but I'm gonna go to sleep because I think that this will be done. Of course, it'll be done by the time I wake up in the morning. And then it's just a matter of putting that audio back in and exporting. But I made a mistake. The mistake that I made was cutting up the footage and putting them in their own individual projects or timelines before running the audio. And I don't know why I did that. It's probably because I'm tired. But that just added so much more time. And I was kind of at a point where I was like, I might as well just go through with it. But the lesson learned today is to just stick to the process. I'm not frustrated. I've learned, I've taken notes. I know what to do in the future. And yeah, it is what it is. Tomorrow's a new day, or today's a new day. Turning off my mouse and calling it a night. See you all tomorrow.
Oh, shoot.
That was a close one. Almost knocked over my time-lapse camera. Now it's good night.